Local farm broadcaster Jared White covers the local agriculture news you need to know. Hear his reports by downloading the free WHOW mobile app.
Hi, this is Len Casper, new voice of the Chicago White Sox, reminding you this is where the Sox play. WHOW AM and FM.
Brought to you by Enel Green Power's Alta Farms Wind Project, Baum Chevy Buick, Clinton Athletic Boosters, Clinton Community YMCA, Covenant Animal Clinic, Liberty Village, Midstate Eye, Nan Krang with Remax Choice, your 217 home team, Warner Hospital and Health Services, and ServPro of Piatt, DeWitt counties.
News time is 7 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Friday morning. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. Coverage of our newscast streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. A Clinton church is inviting the community out to join them in a fundraiser for DeWitt County Dove and the refugees of Ukraine. Pastor David Dunlop leads the Christ Lutheran Church in Clinton and indicates Saturday from 11 to 2 at the church on Mulberry Street. They'll be serving bratwurst and river rat potatoes to support the community and those displaced individuals in Ukraine.
It's at our church. And so you'll be going to Christ Lutheran at 701 South Mulberry Street here in town. And we're serving river rat potatoes and bratwurst from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Right, so we wanted to do something for the community. And so our first choice was to do DeWitt County Dove. And so half of the proceeds will be going to there. And then looking at things in the world and seeing how things are going, we decided to give the other half to the Ukrainian refugees. Well, our church is part of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. And so they have a place called Mission Central. And so they can make sure that it gets out to churches out in Ukraine and make sure that people get what they need from the people who are actually boots on the ground and know what the people need because they live there.
Pastor Dunlop says this stemmed from a discussion those in the church had about being more involved in supporting the community. He hopes to see this fundraiser be something they can do on an annual basis, with funds going to worthy causes across the community.
Yeah, this is actually the first year we're doing it. So this was probably last summer. We had one of our members go, what are we doing for the community? And so we participate in some things that go on at the end of September, which I'm sure everybody listening knows about. We thought, how could we do something else that is kind of unique to our church and can help assist the community? And so that's where it all started from. And so as things progressed, we thought, well, why don't we help an organization in the community also? Mm-hmm. And so that's why we chose Dove, and our congregation has done collections for Dove in the past, gathering dry goods and things that they might need, especially around Christmas time and things like that. And they've actually come out and used our church for one of their candlelight services. So we already have a little bit of a working relationship with them. And so the congregation just kind of naturally gravitated towards their organization. That's what we're hoping for. So if we could make it an annual thing, I think everybody in the congregation would be really excited, because, again, we're here in town. We've been here for over 60 years now, and we just want to embrace the community a little bit more.
The fundraiser again is Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Christ Lutheran Church in Clinton at 701 South Mulberry Street. You will find the event outside, but outside the church, I should say. But Pastor Dunlop points out they will have the church open for those that want a reprieve from the heat of the day. The manager of the Illinois Energy Grid is warning of widespread brownouts at points this summer, and a Central Illinois lawmaker is very concerned about the situation. State Senator Chapin Rose says the progressive left's efforts to go all green is leaving Illinois without enough energy to supply the entire state with energy necessary to navigate the summer demand.
The efforts of the progressive left to end the world of carbon has caught up with it, and the facts are that there's not enough, wind and solar to replace what they're taking off the grid. And so you're hitting these huge supply demand sort of a huge issue. There's just not enough supply to meet the demand. That's the best way to say it. And that's primarily because they've removed capacity from the marketplace. And they've done that by closing coal-fired power plants, and they've done it by eliminating natural gas-fired peaker plants. And so here we are, what is literally the hottest day of the year so far. And, the state of Illinois energy suppliers are having trouble, keeping enough electrons on the grid to meet the demand from everybody's air conditioners running. And so Ameren has, and look, I'm not an energy expert, but Ameren is, and more importantly, MISO, which is the grid operator for the Midwest, MISO, they're the ones who actually make sure that that everything's, working from, across several states. Both Ameren and MISO have now said that we could be facing brownouts in Illinois because the supply is not necessarily going to be around to meet the demand at peak use. That's a real problem. I mean, it's just absolutely a real problem.
According to Senator Rose, at the very minimum, the price of energy is going up, but he fears because renewable energy cannot keep up with the demand, there could be brownouts this summer.
If you look at the fact that Governor Pritzker and his allies think that they can somehow overnight flip a switch, no pun intended, and transfer everything from carbon to wind and solar, and it's just not that simple. And so we're going to have a huge problem that the price, at a minimum, prices are going up. And Ameren, at their latest capacity auction, which is where they buy their power, the raw price per megawatt like quadrupled. So you can imagine what that does to those people who do not have a municipal aggregation. So if you're in a municipality with a municipal aggregation contract, you might be somewhat insulated from this for the time being. But the general point of it is there's not enough power to meet demand. And that's because all these people, they're smarter than the rest of us, telling us that they know better than we do and pat us on the head and go away, have completely mucked up the supply demand market for energy in this state. And, again, this isn't me saying this is the actual grid operator itself. MISO says we could be looking at brownouts, and, if that happens, it'll, be based upon, how many people got their air conditioners on, industrial use, all of that. But 2 years ago, no one was talking about ever even the possibility of having brownouts. That wasn't a possibility. But today, thanks to J.B. Pritzker and his loyalist progressive leftists, we now have people telling us we may not be able to keep the lights on, let alone the air conditioner.
The Mahomet Republican says this is not going to be an easy fix to make the situation right. He explains there are a lot of federal regulations if they want to fire up coal plants again, but he also points out this is an issue the elites among the progressive left do not care about.
Yeah, one, it is not that easy because there's federal EPA rules that come into play. Once power plants go below certain productivity levels, they can't go back upwards. They can't go back up. And so it's just not that easy. The folks knew what they were doing when they did this, and they just simply didn't care that, we were all going to have to face these monumental consequences in terms of price and delivery. But I will also tell you that, when you bow at the church of, the altar of green, which is where these folks come from, they don't care what it costs, right? I mean, J.B. Pritzker's answer to the people of Illinois about gas prices is, well, it's time to buy a Tesla. Okay, billionaire Pritzker. The average guy in my neck of the woods in the 51st industry can't afford a Tesla. So what's your next idea? And that's that's kind of the reality they live in. I mean, if you're in the L train in Chicago, you're not really impacted by this. But to your point a minute ago about turning them back on, and to move from raw electrical energy into the gasoline supply, I read this story last week that because of the EPA regulations, the United States hasn't opened a new refinery in decades. And in fact, we've closed refineries. So when Joe Biden goes out and says, you guys need to produce more, that's simply not possible.
Senator Rose says renewable energy simply is not ready to be the main supply of energy in America today. He says the person causing this in Illinois is Governor J.B. Pritzker and the bills he's passing. The state is losing a corporate headquarters of one of its most historic companies. Heavy equipment manufacturer Caterpillar is moving its home office from Deerfield, Illinois to Irving, Texas. Governor Pritzker says he's disappointed with the move, but Cat's footprint in Illinois is actually growing.
Well, if we're talking about net jobs in the state, actually Caterpillar has added jobs in our state. So it is true that they are moving 240 of their personnel. Those are not manufacturing personnel, they're office personnel, to another location, but they've added hundreds of other jobs to the state. We have more than 17,400 Caterpillar employees that are working in factories and assembly plants in our state.
Caterpillar moved its corporate headquarters from Peoria to Deerfield in 2017. There's a new Illinois FFA president. Rachel Hood was elected to the position on Thursday.
My background, I grew up on my family's cattle and grain farm, so I had a row crop. I grew up on a row crop operation as well as having cattle. So that was my background in agriculture. I was very involved in 4-H as a kid, which is my background in agricultural leadership. And then I just got in the FFA and blossomed and absolutely fell in love with it. Yeah, I'm from the Rushville Industry FFA chapter. We have not had a lot of success in our past years, and then this year we really knocked it out of the park. We got a new ag teacher, Miss Sydney Ryden, and we have been honored to win a lot of things because we've worked really hard. And so I love my home chapter, and I'm really proud to be from Rushville. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to meeting all the members. I love people and connections, and I'm so excited to meet everybody and hopefully leave an impact on them, and I know they're going to leave an impact on me.
Elected Illinois FFA Vice President was Derek Sample from the Cesar-Valier chapter. State reporter is Levi Mayhofer from the Seneca chapter. State Secretary is Haley Bode from the Waterloo chapter, and State Treasurer is Kate Colgan from the Princeville chapter. The Illinois FFA convention wrapped up Thursday in Springfield. The Illinois Department of Transportation is launching a new public safety campaign called It's Not a Game. You may have seen the TV ads already, designed to look like an old school video game, says IDOT spokesperson Paul Wappel.
We're trying to drive home the message that, there are no extra lives, no second chances, no respawns to get it right when you're behind the wheel.
He says It's Not a Game takes a comprehensive approach to addressing everything from distracted driving to pedestrian safety. The campaign will include TV and radio ads, as well as social media and digital signs. The public can view the safety videos and take a quiz online at itsnotagameillinois.com. 19 minutes after the hour, the WHOW morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agents in Clinton. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. A look at local sports on the way. We talked with Clinton High School girls track coach Rachel Anderson Lyons and got a recap of her team's season. That story coming your way in local sports on the WHOW Morning Show.
This is Connie from Love It Once More Thrift Store in Clinton. Did you know your donations stay local to help local? So bring them in and you'll get 10% off any purchase. To learn about our sales this month, be sure to check out our Facebook page or DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hi, this is Ryan with Utterback Real Estate. Time to pick up your roots?
That's random.
Have you outgrown your environment?
What are we growing?
Memories, one home at a time.
Oh, I thought you meant corn and beans.
And that's why you're Ryan Utterback.
Click the Utterback Real Estate icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
You and your loved one will love living here at Eagle Ridge Supportive Living Indicator. Marketing Director Carla Thomas here with some comments from one of our happy residents.
I moved here in 2005, and I've been here ever since. The food is fantastic.
Eagle Ridge Indicator is affordable to everyone. Call me, Carla Thomas, for a tour at 217-872-1282. That's 217-872-1282 and start enjoying supportive living.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Coaches of the Clinton High School girls track program are singing the praises of the progress made by its young athletes this spring. Co-head coach of the girls program, Rachel Anderson Lyons, indicates this year's freshman class equaled nearly the total number of athletes in the program last year. She says it was a young team that worked hard and showed great improvement throughout the season.
So one thing that stood out to us about this team from the very start of the year is how young we are. So last year was kind of an odd year, coming back into a track season with that adjusted in the middle of COVID, I guess, not even post-COVID, but schedule where we had a shortened season that went into June. That team only had 21 athletes on the team in 2021. And this year, we had 19 freshmen on the team. So it was just a huge shift in the makeup of our team. We were just so young, so much to learn, really, truly, about what a full, real high school track season looks like, because only our seniors had any idea what to expect for that to look like, because no one else had ever experienced it. We had a lot of learning, a lot of growing. Super proud of the way the girls stepped up to the plate. Fast forward to the end of the season, we're going into conference championship, and within our conference, some very strong teams, most notably the 1A state champions, girls track state champions, Tuscola. Our big thought coming into the meet was, let's do better than we're seeded to do. That was the big focus, and the girls ended up scoring, and I don't have my paper right in front of me, I'm sorry, but I think it was about 25 points more than we were seeded to score on paper. We finished third still, Shelbyville being the eventual champions and Tuscola second, but we finished within 4 points of Tuscola, the eventual high school 1A girls state champions. So we were just so proud of the way it was such a team effort, really digging deep for every single point, and they were just awesome, and it showed, I think, a great glimmer into what next year is going to look like.
How much her athletes improved throughout the year stood out the most to Coach Anderson Lyons. She says so many athletes showed a lot of improvement, and there was a lot of competition to be the most improved athlete on the season.
One thing that we keep track of every year, is we keep basically an Excel spreadsheet for each athlete and how they performed in each meet. And man, when we were comparing the 2021 season to the 2022 season, seeing the improvement, the race, quote unquote, for most improved athlete on our team was intense because everyone saw crazy improvement. But for the team overall, in general, when Leanne and I started coaching girls track, taking over after my dad, Clinton was really known as a sprint school. Like our focus, not really focus, but where we've seen success was in the sprints. And I would say one of the biggest kind of shifts for us is the growth and development of our distance program. So to speak to that, we had a group of girls in the 4x800, so a distance relay, that they broke the indoor school record, the outdoor fresh soft school record, and the outdoor varsity school record, and some different groupings, not just the same 4 kids there. So I think that's just a huge testament, because all those records before were set by teams that had Payne Turney on them. So definitely spoke to the development of the depth of our distance program. And then in the postseason, our throws really shined. We had, advancing to the state meet, we had a shot putter, Elena Earl, and a discus thrower, Bella Downs, and they are both returning next year as well. Elena finished the season with, like I said, huge personal best. I think I can reference her specifically really quick. Last season, her farthest throw, let's see here. Last year, her best throw was 31 feet 8 inches. And this year at state, with how perfect to throw it at state, her best was 36 feet 5 inches. So over 5 foot improvement. And at the perfect time, which sealed her as all-state, she was 9th and medaled at state in the shot put.
Senior Claire Holland was this year's MVP, and Anderson Lyons says she too could have been the most improved athlete. Senior Autumn Brinkotter was the most valuable sprinter, showing a lot of improvement, and earned the 7th all-time school score in the 200-meter dash. Coach Anderson Lyons was proud of the players that battled through injuries and other circumstances and stayed plugged into the program. She says in years past, that would not have always been the case. Joe Musgrove pitched 7 effective innings in his 3rd straight win, and the San Diego Padres handed the Chicago Cubs their 10th straight loss with a 6-4 victory Thursday. Musgrove permitted 2 runs and 5 hits. He struck out a season-high 9 and walked 1. The 6'5" right-hander has allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in each of his 12 starts this year. The Cubs have been outscored 90-28 in their longest slide since they lost 12 consecutive games. From August 5th through the 16th, they have held leads in 7 of the 10 straight losses. Cubs rookie Christopher Morel led off the first with his second homer in as many games, but Matt Swarmer was knocked out in the fourth. San Diego went ahead for good with 3 runs in the second. Nomar Mazara had a 2-run drive for his first homer with the Padres, and Jake Cronenworth had an RBI double. Ian Happ hit an RBI double for the Cubs, and Andrelton Simmons drove in a run. Swarmer walked 5 in 3 2/3 innings. The Padres improved their big league best road record to 24-11. Keegan Thompson pitches Friday against the Atlanta Braves at Wrigley Field. Thompson was tagged for 5 runs and recorded 2 outs in an 18-4 thumping by the New York Yankees on Sunday. The NASCAR Cup and Xfinity Series are off this weekend for the Father's Day Sunday, but the Camping World Truck Series hits the dirt in Knoxville, Iowa. Kyle Busch held off Zane Smith in a 2-lap sprint from California to earn his first victory in the Truck Series this year, extending his record to 62 wins and a streak of 10 straight years with at least one. Austin Hill won after starting 13th last year in Knoxville. Busch became the 5th non-regular in the series to win through 12 races. Defending series champ Ben Rhodes leads Chandler Smith by 5 points, Zane Smith by 12, and John Hunter Nemechek by 14 in the standings. Zane Smith leads with 3 victories, 10 top 10 runs, and 269 laps led. Practices are tonight at 6 and 8. Qualifying is tomorrow night at 6, and the green flag drops at 8. The circuit heads to Nashville, Tennessee next weekend. Get news anytime, get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Don't miss the 68th Pike County Fair this weekend in Cerro Gordo. The Pike County Fair promises fun for the whole family. Thursday night features karaoke in the beer barn. Friday night is one of the first ITPA tractor pulls of the season. Saturday features kiddie pulls and family activities throughout the day. And local favorite Eric Burgett in the beer barn that night. Sunday features the antique tractor pull. Plus, you don't want to miss the livestock shows, your favorite fair foods, and so much more. Admission to this weekend's Pike County Fair in Cerro Gordo is free. Find the Pike County Fair on Facebook to see the full schedule.
There's a clear choice for Congress. Mary Miller voted with the Socialist Squad to defund our military. Like Joe Biden, Miller coddles criminal illegal immigrants and says it's our responsibility to care for them. Ann Miller knowingly hired a convicted pedophile to be her driver and allowed him to prowl our neighborhoods and put our kids at risk, abandoning our troops, giving aid to criminals who illegally cross our border. Embracing a convicted pedophile, fake conservative Mary Miller can't be trusted. Conservative Congressman Rodney Davis voted to strengthen our military and give our troops a pay raise. Davis voted for President Trump's wall and to cut off funding for sanctuary cities. And Davis is endorsed by the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police because he's tough on crime. Rodney Davis is the strong conservative that Illinois families can trust.
I'm Rodney Davis, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Rodney for Congress.